Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with yet another deck tech featuring MTGO Aftermath. Waiting, as I said yesterday's video, waiting for the launch of MTG Lord of the Rings, so we can start looking at the Lord of the Rings commanders. Tom Bombadil's up from the other week. If you go search through the channel, you can find it. But please, if you've not been here before, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, help me out. And if you're going to tell me what I've done wrong, leave me a comment and let me know. I'll soon have people whinge in the comments, and so I know what I've done wrong. But anyway, I will respond to those comments, by the way, just so aware. So, back to Aftermath. And this is another one of the ones I really want to cover. And it is Jirina, Dauntless General. I hope I've said that right. Apologies if you have got the same name as this card. And I've just upset you, so I am sorry. It's a black and a white for a 2/2 human soldier, legendary creature. And when it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, which just comes into play. Exile that graveyard, goodbye. And then you can sacrifice Jirina to give humans you control hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. It's a cheap human general going forward, and I really like it. So, how are we building this one a day? Well, as you can imagine, it's going to be kind of more or less human tribal, and this is what it looks like. As usual, one of my videos, let's go through the lands. Black-white lands everywhere. You can make the deck a little bit cheaper if you're trying to play this and build this in real life by taking things out like marsh flats, and someone down here is scrubland. You can take them out, replace them with other things. But I've got an interesting selection of the lands from Streets of New Capenna coming out, just so I can limit the number of so I can limit the lands in the deck, basically, or get them out and ramp my mana quicker. It's what I'm aiming for. So we've got like the hideout, the courtyard. We've got Obscura Storefront in here, Maestro's Theatre. Yes, some of them are only going to get one colour of the land we need, but yeah, I think it's worth playing him in this one. But everything else, black and white lands, load of plains, load of swamps, and then unclaimed territory and secluded courtyard, because it is mainly a human tribal deck, so we might as well have as many humans in as we can. The rest of the ramp, my usual selection: Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, and Arcane Signet. I've also chucked in the Talisman of Hierarchy in this one, just so we can make sure we're getting there with the lands we need, and we can get multiple humans down in one turn if need be. And let's start looking at the humans. So the first human is a bit of a cheat. It's Kithion, who turns into Gideon when we get into transform, and at least 2 other creatures attack, exile Kithion, and return to the battlefield transformed. The nice little bit of indestructible is pretty cool, but getting this into Gideon quite early on is always good fun, so bear that in mind. Lunarch Veteran gives a bit of life gain, along with Martyr of the Sands, because most of the creatures are white, believe it or not. So you should be able to get quite a few bits of 3 times X life. Soul Ascendant, because I'm gonna make a statement here. I've put it in here because I wanted another 1-drop, and this is a good one. I really think this card needs Eritering for Commander, or it needs taken out Commander, because a 1 mana 6/6 with lifelink and flying on turn 1 really does upset people really quickly. So just my thought. Anyway, Soul Warden's here, Soul Mender's here to gain the life, Soul's Attendant's here to gain even more life. Speaker of the Heavens, we want some angels in play. This is a nice way of doing them once we get to sort of like 47 plus life. Weathered Wayfarer lets us go search out even more lands from our library if we need to. And Mardu Shadow Spear attacks each opponent, loses 1 life. The dash is why it's in here. Dropping this on turn 2, getting it with a bit of damage with haste, and everyone losing, one person losing 2 life, everyone else losing 1 is actually really very good. Containment Priest stops all the wonderful token decks I'm expecting to see at the moment. I've played quite a few lots against Krenko recently. Quite a few games against Krenko recently, hence why this is coming, because I'm fed up losing to the Krenko Goblin tokens. And Coppercoat Vanguard's also coming in from the Aftermath set. Giving all our humans +1/+0 and ward is not something we should sneeze at. This is the card that there is an argument for including something like Swiftfoot Boots in here, Boots in here, and you would probably put it on here. At the moment, I'm not sure, but hey, even if it does let us have ward for at least 1 turn before it gets killed off, I'm happy with that. Fencing Ace for the double strike. Hero of Precinct 1, because we might as well try and get some more humans out token-wise. We haven't got a great amount of human multicoloured spells in here, but we've got enough that makes it worthwhile having this here, I feel. Hidden Dragon Slayer comes in face down for the morph cost, and then we're going to be turning it up to blow up the biggest thing our opponents control very soon, as soon as possible. Imposing Sovereign stops all the haste creatures that I've been suffering against, mainly the maybe I'm being biased with sort of like Containment Priest and the Sovereign here, because it's the goblins I keep getting against, but they're in for now. Luminarch Aspirant lets us chuck around some +1/+1 counters, which make our little creatures bigger. Thalia's Lieutenant pumps up all our human creatures, then just gets really big as we play even more humans. The Cutthroat lets us gain a little bit of life and drain our opponents when creatures die. And Olverzov Guild Mage. It's a nice way of sinking mana in and gaining a bit of life if we need to. Or if we've got an opponent who's on slide 3, maybe 4, it's possible that you'll be able to drain them out. I like this one especially because it doesn't have a tap symbol in it. So as soon as it comes into play, if you've got that extra mana sinking around, you can start draining or gaining. So bear that in mind. Feast of the Victorious Dead is also here from Aftermath. At the beginning of your end step, if one or more creatures died this turn, you may gain that much life and distribute that many +1/+1 counters amongst creatures you control. Makes all your humans really big as quickly as possible. It's very nice if you do a sort of like suicide attack, you lose a load of creatures, then you play one of your other creatures, and at the end of the turn, you get all those nice +1/+1 counters. So we're not going to complain. Invasion of New Capenna also turns up for this one. We don't mind sacrificing, tokens that we may have created to deal with the to exile a creature or an opponent. They could be something we need to get rid of. And the bit of equipment it turns into is very nice because put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. Yeah, okay then. So all my creatures are human. So if I get this flipped into the equipment, equipped on a human and attack with it, we just pump up all the humans. I think this one's been a little bit underplayed at the moment. I mean, it's black and white, so it doesn't go in every deck. I realise that in Commander, but I think it's something people need to be aware of going forward. Killian, the Ink Duelist, is here just because it was Menace and Lifelink. The spells you cast at target creature cost 2 less. Yeah, no, not interested so much in that. This is purely for the Menace and Lifelink and a 2/2, which is nice. The Syndicate Guild Mage is the other Guild Mage in the deck. Again, this one's got a tap ability, it's a little bit annoying, but you can tap down the biggest threat that's power 4 more, or you can deal 2 damage to an opponent or planeswalker if you need to, just to get those last couple of loyalty counters off, or maybe just finish someone. So, Arcane Signet, Talisman I've talked about, but Metallic Mimic is a shapeshifter, but we pick human for it. Makes all our humans a lot better as they come into play with those lovely +1/+1 counters on it. 3 drops, Frontline Medic. I think people forget about Battalion. I like Battalion as an ability when it first came in the set where this was in, which I've completely forgotten the name of now. Gate Crash, there you go. And this one I did like because it means all our creatures get indestructible until the end of turn when we attack with this and 2 others. Can't complain about that. Lauren of the Third Path, I did say this would be turning up in white decks going forward. Yep, the white version of Reclamation Stage with a little bit of annoying card draw, but yep, we'll go with that. Mentor of the Meek. Lots of our creatures have power 2 or less, so we can pay the extra 1 if we get things right, which is getting easier with some of the cards we've got coming up to draw those cards. Radiant Destiny. We pick human. We get to have those +1/+1s around already, and they get Vigilance when we get the Blessing, which ain't difficult in this deck. Siege Veteran. We've got the odd soldier here and there, so we might get some tokens. But again, it's just another variation of the Luminarch Aspirant over here. So might as well have it in as well. Starts a little bit bigger, that helps. PNR, Nomad Captain. Whenever attacking creatures get +1/+1 till the end of turn. Another way of boosting our team up. Mardu Strike Leader gives us a 2/1 Black Warrior token when it attacks, and we can dash it in. Liliana, Heretical Healer, another one that we want to get transformed if we can. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, exile the Heretical Healer, return it to the battlefield transformed. If you do, create a 2/2 zombie, so the thing that died becomes a zombie and protects Liliana for at least 1 turn. Etchings of the Chosen, another way of picking a creature type to give it +1/+1, so humans again. And sacrifice a creature of the chosen type. A target creature you control gains indestructible until the end of turn, if we need to do it. Cabal, Yeah, yeah. We all know what this does. Cast non-creature spells. If they lose 2, we gain 2. Very nice, thank you. Does put a big target on your head. Bear that in play. And Nalia Dinasan from the Battle for Baldur's Gate set, if I remember correctly. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, and Wizard spells, which we do have a few of. Yeah, Clerics, Warrior, there's the odd one, Cleric. They're kicking around, so it might help us get things off. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain Death Touch. We can just about get a full party, I think. So, bear that in mind. Anyway, Sin Collector. Get to exile a card from a hand of someone who's annoying us. Herald's Horn lets us make our humans cheaper, which makes paying the extra one for Mentor of the Meek even easier. Icon of Ancestry pumps our creatures up again, and then we can look at our top 3, chose one of them, one of the cards, hopefully humans are showing, and we get to put the rest on the bottom of our library. And Urza's Incubator. I've got a little bit addicted to this at the moment, but it makes our humans really cheap to cast. It means we can pay the mental cost really easily, and it's not a bad thing to have in play at all, especially since it's the first time you have to sacrifice Jirina or that gets killed off, it's still going to cost you black and white to bring it back, because Urza's Incubator takes off the tax. Gold Knight Commander. Whenever another creature enters battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1. Magda, just so we can get some card draw if we need to. Miriel gives us a whole load of soldier tokens, which is lovely. Works really nicely with the Gold Knight Commander. Odric Lunarch Marshal. It gives us a way of, at the beginning of combat, creatures you control gain first strike if a creature has first strike. Same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, blah 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 blah. And where is it? Soul says Sarah Ascendant will probably have lifelink and flying, so it is possible your entire team goes to the air and upsets everyone. And Ranger of Eos lets us go and get those 1/1s out, those 1-drop cards out of our library. So we have ways of doing it. Going back, well, this is Masters 25, but this was originally in Portal 3 Kingdoms. Kongamine, a sleeping dragon, pumps all our creatures up. The other version of Odric lets us decide how we're going to get blocked with our creatures that are attacking. And Dora Destinies pumps up our creatures quite significantly because they're all humans. Revelant Hoplite comes into play. Our devotion to white, we get all those human soldier tokens, which combined with the Good Knight Commander gets very unpleasant very quickly. And then sort of like the black side comes in the higher drops. So Endrix, our Master Breeder, cast a creature spell, we get some Thrall tokens, and when we have 7 or more Thralls, we lose Endrick. We'll still have the Thralls, so we're not going to complain. Burial Rites, just a little bit of graveyard manipulation, so we can flash back or bring back into the battlefield something that's already died, and then flash it back for another card. And Patriarch's Biddings here, because we can just go human. Return everything to play, thank you very much. So Conrad turns up again. I know it was in the deck yesterday, but in here it still serves a purpose. It's human, and it also means that we get to do all that draining. Well, 1 damage to everybody as things die. Grateful Restoration from Modern Horizons 2. There you go. We turn up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Can't find anything with power greater than 2 at the moment. Okay, Frontline Medic it doesn't touch. But most of the rest of our deck... Oh, and Mardu Strike Leader. There you go. Most of the humans. And obviously Ranger. And some of the legendary guys. But brings back most things for us. We're not going to complain too much. Hero of the Dunes. Enters the battlefield. Return target artifact or creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, it does give us a little bit of protection for these artifacts. And all these creatures. And creatures you control with mana value 3 or less get +1/+0. So everything down this side of the deck. Okay, we'll cope with that from the Brothers Wall, thank you. Ravios Soul Tender gives everything +1/+1. Potentially with this version of Odric in play, everything flying. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Plus, worst comes to the worst, we can get it back with Graceful Restoration. Vanquisher's Banner. Choose creature type. choose human, draw a card every time you cast a human. And then finally, right at the top of the curve, Rise of the Dark Realms. Get all our creatures back, take everyone else's creatures. Now, this one's a little bit easy, tricky. It is a pure beatdown deck. There's nothing like Damnation, Wrath of God, Day of Judgment, so on and so forth. Toxic Deluge springs to mind. It is going to be a case of let's try and just beat down as quick as we can with all the humans we've got. And that's how I wanted to play it. So I want something a bit fun and a bit light-hearted. Yes, you can take out some of the weaker creatures. You can put in Damnation. You can put in Elixir of Immortality to go and make sure you can recycle everything. But I think, from my point of view, having a whole load of cheap creatures and Jirina, Dauntless General to back them all up and make them all hexproof and indestructible, you're going to get a lot further with it. But that's the deck tech for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment. Let me know anything you think I've left out that should be in the deck. If there's anything you've added in or any ideas, let me know. And if you hated the video, let me know that as well and tell me why though. But please tell me why. But please hit the sub button if you haven't done before. And I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye.